Okay. I wonder if it would be a good idea if you had a good quality educated group of investors, if we might be able to look at assets early before anybody. What do you think, Dwayne? Do you think that would be
That'd be helpful.
a
That'd
good
be helpful.
idea? I wonder if we could work something.
Yeah.
We could,
Pressure Bob right live
yeah,
on the show there.
no, hey,
There's on the spot.
that's good.
Hey, Bob,
But
I have a question for you. So kind of where do you see the market going? Seeing how what's kind of the 50,000 foot view of moving forward? Where do you see it going? And what did it look like about 18 months ago? The big shift that you're seeing.
Yeah, so we looked at the past. Now, yeah, let's kind of thanks, Dwayne.
yeah, so, coming out of COVID, everybody was thinking there would be a big tsunami of MPLs, right? But there was so much government help keeping all that going that we really didn't see much flow of MPLs. There was a lot of reperforming loans, coming out of the forbearance plans or modifications or people that were able to get reinstated through the housing assistance funds, out there. So there really wasn't a whole lot of that going on. And to your point earlier, Kevin, originally seller financing back in the day, which I wasn't driving during the Carter administration, so that was a little bit early for me to be in a gas line. But it was because rates were so high.
What are you talking about?
And they were writing seller financing at 8 or 10%. It was a deal. Well, then rates got to be 2 or 3%. So if you're like seller financing and you're doing 8 to 10, all of a sudden it's like, I'm not paying 8 to 10. I can go to the bank and get 2 or 3.
Sure.
Well, you're starting to see the flip side of that. It was hard to get a loan now at the bank because rates had gone up. Credit got tighter. It's harder to qualify at 7 than it was at 2, and so forth. So seller finance is coming back as well. We're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
But two products I wanted to talk to you guys about that we're seeing quite a bit of. Well, I'll mention the NPL market. Fannie and Freddie are starting to sell some loans. As a matter of fact, we're going to participate in the community impact pool bidding process that they're getting ready to put out.
Yeah, they just February 8th they announced that, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
That is. So Chaz has been working on that and getting that lined up. But two products that we see quite a bit that's interesting, both performing and non-performing bridge loans. Okay, so these are short-term bridge loans. Some of them are lent to fix and flippers, somebody who's rehabbing the property, right? Some of they have pretty good coupon rates. And if they pay good, you got a great cash flow. And if they're non-performing, you got it. It's almost like an REO business. You got to know how to rehab a property and finish it, because not every property they default on is going to be 100% complete. You just can't sell it. So we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then the other product that is relatively new, in my opinion, is reverse mortgages, which people refer to as HECMs. And that's a home equity conversion mortgage. Is when someone 55 or older basically cashes out their equity in their house, lives off of it until they die. So every loan is created to default because, as far as I know, Kevin, everybody dies.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, and now the holders of the reverse mortgage, if they have a loan where the borrower is deceased and the property is vacant, they can sell that asset, right? They'll file an insurance claim with HUD, because all the HECM loans were insured by HUD. And if they aren't able to get an insurance claim done, they'll look to move that. So we're seeing a ton of HECM loans on the market too. And that really is an REO play, but you buy it as an NPL. So you have to work it through the foreclosure. And then you may have to wait for the probate or some heir to come up and file some interest in it. So you got to build that into your model, the carrying costs of the timeline of how long it'll take to get to foreclosure. It's an interesting. We've bought some, but we're dipping our toe in it, I would say.
Yeah.
Because just imagine, my dad recently passed away. He was 90 years old, and I know what his house looked like. Right, he had lived there for 50 years. For the past 6, he was by himself after my mom passed away. It was, you go into that house, you don't know what you're going to find, right? So you just imagine what kind of product you're getting. Dwayne will relate to this. They're still going to have shag carpet all over.
Yeah.
They're going to have the avocado appliances,
Oh yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, the pink and black
like
tile.
when are you going to change this stuff out? What is going on? I just don't know that. Yeah.
So you got to be careful when you get your REO back, what you may or may not end up with, because again, it's going to be an aged probably low maintained type property. So there is a play there if you can buy it at the right price. But we are seeing a lot of bridge loans and a lot of HECM loans, in addition to the NPLs are starting to flow, nowhere close to what people anticipated, but we see a steady stream each month coming across.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought those up, because the HECMs, again, kind of a new thing in the industry. I saw about a year ago, started seeing some, and I was like, how would that play? And so I started doing research, and I put together even a training on that, and to let people know there is a play there, because it's a weird way of looking at it. It's not the way we normally look at a note. But then I just, all of a sudden, for me at least, they kind of disappeared. I wasn't seeing as many as before. So it's good to know that those are out in the marketplace again. So a little fluctuation, I'm guessing, or at least at the level that I see. And then the short-term bridge loans, that's interesting, and that's, I think, should attract a lot of people who are rehabbers. I mean, you've got skills in the real estate. You know how to value real estate as it is, what the after repair value is, what's your cost in time and money, and then take this other skill set here of learning to buy the note first, rather than waiting for a foreclosure and trying to buy it then, and the property actually would probably be worse, deteriorate, depending upon how much work they've done, or if kids are breaking in there, vacant home, that sort of thing. Learn how to buy the non-performing note, with the purpose being to end up with a real estate. There's nobody living in there. This is a house under renovation. You had a real estate investor who took out a loan. They started renovating the property, and then they figured out, why am I doing this? It's going to cost me more. I'm not going to be able to sell it on the marketplace to somebody. I'm in over my head. I'm out. And a lot of those investors will walk away because they're doing things through an LLC, maybe not even a personal guarantee, could be, but at some point they go, can't do it. And the money lenders, you would think, well, why don't they foreclose and take the property back? Because that's not the business that they're in. They want to lend money, So if they're going to take a hit, they'd rather take the hit in the form of a discount of the note, get that capital reinvested, versus having that capital out of the investment arena in the foreclosure realm of things, which, you're right, depending upon what state, and that ranges anywhere from 90 days to 4 years, so you got to know the back roads of that. But I think there's a good play for even more real estate investors to start to learn that notes are a part of real estate. If you're borrowing money, you're lending money, you're creating notes, guess what? That is real estate. So you better learn that skill set, because it is different than regular real estate.
Yeah, and a lot of these lenders made multiple loans to the same LLC. So all of a sudden they had 10 projects going on, and they just got in over their head. And they couldn't sell a property, and they couldn't borrow any more money, and the lenders just they quit paying, so they got to sell that note.
Yeah.
But being an LLC, being that the property is not occupied, in some areas it does shorten the foreclosure timeline. You don't have an eviction you're going to have to worry about. There's nobody in there. Hopefully you secured it. There's no squatter in there. So other than that, it does squeeze the timeline some. And we like those loans. We probably like them more than we like the HECMs, just because we have a better understanding of what you're getting. Even though they say on the HECMs that they're vacant and secured, a lot of times when you're bidding them, and even when you buy them, you cannot get inside the property. Sometimes you can, if for some reason, they have a lockbox and the seller can get you in there. But I would say 80% or more, you can't even get in there. So it is buying them, like buying an NPL where you don't know what the condition of the property is.
Yeah.
Whereas
sometimes errors come with that too. And, the errors sometimes are going to try to, which is fine, because they'll if they want to pay off the loan, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the grandkid just wants to live for free in grandma's house.
That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting at. So it's like,
Right.
So you do have that aspect to deal with, versus a vacant home that, they've at least renovated, they put some money into it. And
exactly. So I would say those are two relatively new asset classes that we're seeing in the space, to go along with the typical seller finance and the institutional performing, reperforming, and non-performing. So we try to cast a wide net. Obviously, we talked earlier, I've been in this business a long time, and I've dabbled in each one of these. I think I'm bringing a unique perspective to Revolve as far as experience in different areas that allows us to go after whatever opportunity we see in the market at any given time.
Yeah, and great opportunities for individual investors, right? And I think that's where Dwayne was going. It's like, this is, it's just, inventory's there. You have companies like Revolve that, again, they're in the business of buying the notes, maybe at a discount for purpose of resell, maybe buying the notes that are not performing, getting them reperform again, enhancing the value of the note, reselling them. So those companies do want to work with you, everybody. They want you to come and buy notes actively from them. So they're going, here's our inventory, and we'll provide you the documentation. What kind of system are you guys working on when you provide the inventory? Is it through a spreadsheet, and do you provide documents? Do you do open bids or
right now, and one of my goals over throughout 2024 is to add technology to make it more streamlined for everybody. But right now it is an offering tape.
Tape's an Excel spreadsheet, everybody.
Right, an Excel spreadsheet, and then take bids for a certain period of time. And then the winning bids receive the collateral files via Dropbox. Goes through there, and they have a 15-day due diligence time. And obviously, we provide them with our BPO, our title report, all the collateral file, pay history. If it is not performing, the servicer comments. We don't do that on the spreadsheet. We just want to do it to the investor, and then we'll have a backup bid, just in case something goes. We'll make sure we do that. We're going to try to add some technology piece to where nowadays it's easy to get a link that has all the files in it and so forth. But Kevin, as you know, we're sending proprietary information to somebody, and they've signed an NDA or whatever, but still, we're not just going to blast that information to everybody who says, oh, I want to see your loans,
right.
So my only advice to everybody is we want to work with all of you. We want to sell you loans, whether they're REO, whether they're not performing, whether they're reperforming or performing. But don't bid on a loan just to be practicing. Bid on a loan if you have the money to buy, I take every offer that subject to your due diligence, because if the numbers don't make sense, you don't have to buy it. But subject to your due diligence, you're going to write the check.
Yeah.
And if you do that, I can tell you that I've been dealing with the same people now that I dealt with when I was at Metropolitan. I still have people sending me deals for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in building a relationship. It's much more important than any individual transaction.
Yeah.
So just, if you want one piece of advice for your folks, Kevin, is develop relationships for everybody, right? Because that's what it's all about. Because if somebody says, oh, I wouldn't deal with John over there at all, then, that's not a very good reputation. And,
sage advice. Real estate, which we're a part of, the note business, it's a relationship business. That's really what it is. It's a people business, as I like to say. But you're coming down to Orlando pretty soon, coming around my area of town here for the conference, right?
Yeah, I always find it odd that they schedule a conference in Orlando during spring break time, because nobody will be there at all, right? And I'm sure they got a great deal on a hotel. But yeah, IMN will be March 7th and 8th. 7th and 8th or 6th and 7th? 7th and 8th? It's Thursday and Friday, yeah. So I'll be coming in on the 6th, but it's the 7th and 8th. It's the IMN Non-Performing Loan Conference. It's actually the last time I saw Kevin face to face was there last year.
Yeah, we were on a panel together, I should say.
Yep. Yeah. And so they have panels and they have a lot of networking. They have one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and it gives us a chance to meet a lot of counterparties face to face, service providers, attorneys that we deal with. So it's like speed dating, right? You set up meetings all day long and you just basically meet with everybody. You sit in on a few panels and you have an opportunity to, we probably run a dozen meetings a day.
That Hyatt's really set up well for that too. That's a nice hotel, and you want to go to a quiet corner. There's there's a ton of them. You want to have lunch. Well, there's a ton of places to go. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll see you there, and we can sit down and chat for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. So excellent. Hi, man, coming up, and then is Revolve doing any other events or anything online or live?
As a matter of fact, we're the lead sponsor for the DME conference that Nathan Turner puts on in Nashville.
Oh, up in Nashville.
Which is at the end of May, beginning of June. I think it's May 31st and June 1st. We are sponsoring the axe throwing competition.
Ooh.
So the night before the conference, he has he had one last year, it was the first one. So this will be the second annual axe throwing contest. So they go
How
to
much
a
was that
venue.
insurance?
Yeah, I know, right? I had to sign a lot of disclaimers that we are not part of that. We are just sponsoring the event. So we're looking forward to that. That's a good event, especially for individual investors that are looking to either get more knowledge in the note space or to meet, service providers. There'll be all kinds of
Yeah, for individual investors, probably a better event if you're picking between one or the other. IMN's a little more higher level, I would say, than the DME. But yeah, Dwayne, you were just talking with Nate. In fact, Nate's going to be on the podcast.
He's getting ready to be on a podcast here next week, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Nathan's a good guy. I love his story. I won't, take the thunder away, but having somebody in the note business that's based out of Canada, but invest in notes in America is a great story. So I've known him for a long time, and I'm happy that Revolve is going to support him in his DME conference.
Yeah, excellent. Well, very good. Unless you have anything, Dwayne, did we cover everything?
Yeah, just real quick, my last question, Bob, is so Kevin has a lot of savvy investors that listen to his podcast, his tip of the day on YouTube channel. Somebody that's starting out, we get a lot of the newbies. What would you recommend, first thing off your head, that you would think and be able to say to somebody that's new, starting out in the business? What's some advice you can give them?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on a minute ago, as far as always keep the relationship the top priority, right? And look, just be honest and trustworthy. If you're, I find a lot of people that are new that are going to, make some fee income by brokering, right? But they act to their counterparty like they're the ones with the checkbook. And a lot of times, if a deal falls apart, you lose your credibility there. So just be straight up with folks. And, hopefully everybody who's, listening to you guys want to be in it for the long term.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't a get rich quick business. Obviously, if it was, I wouldn't be in it 30 years. I'd have been rich and retired by now. I think it's a great business. It's done a lot for my family. I met a lot of great people all across the country, and I love it. And Dwayne, just my piece of advice to you is next time I'm talking to you, you probably have a Yankee jersey behind you instead of the Orioles.
Yeah, hey, listen, that's a legend behind me. That's old Cal Ripken, the Iron Man. So I made sure I put that one up today and took down the actually I was going to put up a Cowboys just to make you happy, but wanted you to see that number 8 the whole time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's on camera full time. Awesome. Well, Bob, good to see you. And I'll more than likely, almost for sure, see you in Orlando at the IMN conference. We'll look forward to talking to you there. And thanks for being on, man. Really appreciate it. And, looking forward to seeing some stuff from Revolve and looking at some inventory. So I'm going to start sending some people your way.
Great success over there.
I appreciate that. And, like I said, just email us at trade desk at Revolve Capital, and we'll take care of you. And Dwayne, good seeing you. Kevin, look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. And
great.
Hopefully be on there again one day.
Sounds good. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And again, if you like the show, please subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel if you want to see the video version, and subscribe there as well. I do a lot of tips, as Dwayne just mentioned. I do a tip of the day almost every day, probably a good 4 days a week, let's say, while I'm out walking and just have thoughts. I do a lot of one-on-one sessions with people, and a lot of things. When you look at the number of deals, individual deals that I'm looking at, it's just the different stories and things that you can see. That's what I share on the tip of the day. So please check that out as well. So I look forward to putting another podcast for you to all real soon. Thank you.